Yo guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another Alviso and more Insta360 camera. Look at this, so cool. I made a whole video about how to mount the Insta360 X4, how to use it, how to get the best possible footage out of it. So if you're interested in buying it, first of all, there's a link in the description. You're gonna get a little bonus if you check out the link. And then also I will link on the video I made on how to mount it and get the best. So you don't have to spend all this time going through trial and error like I did. So with that said, let's dive into some Alviso race footage. All right, we're going to talk about who's in this race, what's going on. But right off the bat, Max sending one super early. And I'm going to follow because you know what? Why not? Max is fast. I know Max can rotate really strong in a breakaway. And dude just gets aero. And so I'm following. Looks like I do have some folks with me. But this was, even though it was super early on in this race, you guys, this was a hard, fast attack through this crosswind section. That's important because that generally sheds riders. That was not by accident from Max. I'm checking back after Max gives me the elbow flick. I'm like, all right, I'm putting my head down. We've talked about this aero position, how much faster it is, especially in this headwind. I'm going to elbow flick. I'm like, hey, as long as there's some disruption behind, we're going to send it. But the problem is the group's a little bit too big. That rider right there in the black helmet, already skipping poles. This is what happens when you have a breakaway group that's quite big. And you get riders who are like not thrilled with taking poles. You know, they're like, hey, I can kind of still hide. This group is still big. But we did immediately shed in that crosswind from Max's initial attack. Like, I would say half the field. You know, a good like 10 or 15 riders immediately popped from that initial attack. But this group, like I said, is still too big, rider skipping poles. So we're going to find out. We still have to be on our toes. We're going to find out when the counterattacks are going to come, how we're going to join them, and what that final composition is going to look like for the finish line. All right, so just a little bit later, I'm on the front. I don't know why I'm on the front, but here I am on the front. We're still so early on in this race. I know that there's going to be counterattacks, and that's exactly what Max is doing. He was so determined today. There he goes, bringing basically everyone with him. And here we get a good perspective of how big the group is. And this is what I was talking about. It's just too big for like a nicely rotating pace line. I'm going to drop all the way back to the end of this group. This is a sort of a risky, this is like a high risk, high reward move because the draft is better back here. You don't have to respond to all those little counterattacks and things, those accelerations towards the front. But you're not first to the scene if something really threatening goes. And there might be gaps that open up. And there might be just situations that arise where you're not prepared to be in a race-winning position. But the draft is good. So this is the sort of math that you have to do when you're in a race. Like, is this worth it? Now, this would be a good opportunity to talk about these two guys in the pink jerseys. This is Tayroon Elite. The only two guys with teammates in this lead group. Actually, and there might have been two SJBC riders. The guy in the black helmet, I think, had a teammate. That's going to be important later, the guys in the pink jerseys. So remember the two Tayroon riders. But you can see, like, this is, right, this is, like, not a breakaway. This is just, like, an accidental split. And Max kind of poking his head out, looking back. Is he gonna rip it again? It looks like it. Yeah, Max, like I said, he was so determined on this day. And he's going to go. And I'm going to play this little game where it's like, hey, as long as the Tayroon boys aren't involved in this move off the front, then I'm okay with it. Even though there's two riders now off the front, one of them isn't wearing this pink jersey. So I'm going to chill a little bit. But this is like the threat that I was talking about earlier. You know, if you're not in position to make these decisions, it might be out of your control, out of your hands if you're too far back. But I'm going to sit back here and just kind of play the waiting game with a lot of racing left to go. And now that I'm in better position, you know, I thought I would be in a better position to respond to things like this. Donnie putting in a searing attack on the right-hand side. Super smart because, guys, look at the blue arrows. Left to right-hand crosswind. He was on the sheltered side that entire time. That makes a big difference. Plus, I was kind of in a prison there. I was just surrounded by riders. I couldn't respond as quickly as I wanted to. Even though I was a little further up, I wasn't, like, all the way back. This is something that's now threatening because if Donnie gets across one of the two Tayroon riders to that already established group of two off the front, which it looks like they might be doing, then I'm in a lot of trouble because there's really nobody else who's gonna chase. So I'm seeing there's two groups in front of me, these slowing riders, and I like just have to turn it on here. You can see I'm doing quite a bit of power. In fact, not only did Donnie attack through that lead group, he brought somebody with him I think that is, I'm actually not sure who that is. That might be Max again. But you can see I'm getting arrow here. Got my head down, doing a serious effort. I know I'm checking back. I know I have people behind me, but I just have to kind of commit to bringing this one back because it's a threatening one. It's Donnie in one of the pink jerseys with Timmy, who is a powerful sprinter, and he's been a really strong breakaway rider too. So definitely worth the commitment and energy here to bring that one back. You can tell, guys, I'm pretty focused on these pink jerseys, and that's not by accident. They're a pretty threatening duo. And did we shed a few more riders? I believe we did at this moment. That was a hard attack. I'm going to look back here in a second and see coming through this corner. Oh yeah. Oh, we totally did. In fact, it's only 4 of us now. So we're going to continue rolling this, see where it takes us. That's right. I remember now. This is a very tenuous moment in the race. I noticed we have the gap, and I just continue rolling it. I'm going to flick Timmy through. Behind Timmy is Blaine. Clearly strong breakaway rider. We've talked a lot about him on the channel. And then Donnie, and I'm going to slot in here, and I'm just going to continue rolling this because I remember being convinced this is probably going to be the move of the day. But I was wrong, and we do end up getting caught, which is kind of a drag because we had a good thing going there for a moment. You can see the new composition of this group. We're back to that kind of rough, see already people like gaps opening up, people kind of skipping turns, and we're back to that unstable number. It looks like there's 8 of us or so, where we're not smoothly rotating anymore, right? Consistency is efficiency, and you can catch a glimpse right up there. That's a pink jersey attacking. This is exactly what I was trying to prevent, is us back to this attack, counterattack style racing where we're not being consistent and efficient, and it's a kind of a drag. So we're just going to have to reset here, and one more time be in a position where we have to be very mindful of the composition of these counterattacks and think about being in a race-winning position at all times and being able to respond to ones that are particularly threatening. That one back there, I had to respond. I had to close the gap down to Donnie off the front, who looks like he's brought. God, is it Timmy again? Oh no, Timmy's right up there. It looks. Oh, he's brought Max with him. So this is again really threatening, and I should be. I'm sitting here in a desk chair. Timmy's elbow flicking through, and he's not even on the front. It's kind of a testament to how fast the beginning of this race has been. So I just need to commit to bringing this one back, and I know I'm bringing folks with me at this point, but this is just kind of a necessary effort because of the fact that it's got these 2 strong breakaway riders in it. And this is the thing I was talking about earlier, is being aware of people's motivations, being aware of the composition of these little moves, and just making sure you're always putting yourself in a race-winning position. It can go both ways. Like, you can respond to too many things that aren't very threatening and be too tired for the end of the race. You can not respond to enough, and you can lose. Like, you can just watch the winning breakaway get away. And this is a good example of that. Here's Blaine going off the front. Strong breakaway rider, but by himself for this long without one of the 2 Tehran riders who you can see have both made this lead group, I'm going to let that one go, especially coming right off the heels of chasing the last one down. Hopefully the audio picks it up, but right there I'm like, okay guys, give him like 5 seconds, because my plan, this is I love this strategy. This is a high level strategy here, is just like, let him dangle. A lot of people freak out and they're too enthusiastic to chase moves back, but solo rider, this much racing left, I'm like, yeah, just let him dangle. Like, let Blaine sit up there in the wind and get tired, and that's exactly what we did. Over the next couple of laps, several kilometers, we let Blaine just torture himself with about a 5 to maybe 10 second gap off the front, and we all worked together in this very smooth and consistent fashion, doing even rotations on the front. You can see everyone's taking their turn. And my heart rate's come down, I'm chill, and this is the result of consistency is efficiency. We've talked about this a lot on the channel, but like, if we're back here attacking each other and freaking out because Blaine has a 7 second gap, that's exactly what he wants. But instead, we're doing this even rotation, and everyone's benefiting from this. Meanwhile, our competition, Blaine off the front, getting tired. So this is kind of an uncharacteristic Alviso cooperation, but it's good to see. And it lasted this way for a few kilometers. But really, I wish it lasted longer. We end up catching him a little bit too soon. We should have just let him dangle up there with, like I said, 5 seconds or so. Instead, we catch him, and then we're back to this, guys. Round 3 of a breakaway that's too big, and can't really manage itself, so it just starts counterattacking. And yeah, again, same thing as the last 2 times, just being extra mindful when there's a pink jersey I'm following. When there's a couple of threatening riders who are, strong from this distance I'm following, I'm being very selective. I'm making sure that I am represented and putting myself in a race-winning position, just like this one. And attacks like this, where we're just kind of watching Max roll off the front, this one's a very marginal case. I remember being very tempted to follow that one because A, Max is very strong, and B, we're very deep into this race. Everyone's done a lot of work, and people are more reluctant to chase and do work on the front later on in the race. Everyone is getting tired. It kind of makes sense. But I showed some discipline, and I was like, okay, I'm feeling good, but I just want to make sure that I don't self-sabotage and chase something back that Tayroon in pink is going to be able to counter or, organize super well and then be able to beat me in the sprint because I'm tired. So I decide to let Max go. Now, we've lost races this exact way, watching Max go with just a handful of kilometers left like this. But, yeah, a little bit of discipline. Let's see how it works out for me. And just a few kilometers, like 1 kilometer later or something, this is exactly what I was waiting for. There goes Donnie. Now I have to respond. Tayroon doesn't want to chase. They want to just join it, right? This one, without question, right? The other one was marginal when Max went by himself. This one is I am dying on this hill, you guys. I am following this one no matter what. I'm getting a little close to that car. We're going fast through this corner. I know who's in my draft. Yeah, I can see it now. It's the pink jersey of Donnie's teammate. And I have to just continue chasing this back because this is the hill I die on. And this is good teamwork by Tayroon, by the way. This is Zach behind me. He's a powerful sprinter. I know he's back there. I don't even have to look. But this is what Donnie was doing, is kind of setting up his teammate. And this is good teamwork by Tayroon. And now dropped a couple more riders. So now it's this interesting situation where that bloated breakaway we had at the very beginning was 12 of us or something. Over the course of this race, over the course of all of these little attacks, has been chipped away. And we've gone from 12 to 10 to 8 to whatever, 6 that we're at now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, 6, including Max, who's off the front by, you can still see him up there, by 4 or 5 seconds. So we're going to hopefully chase Max back because we're approaching the end of this race now. And I am doing everything I can at this moment to rest. I'm not as worried anymore about Max's gap because you can see he's down to 3 seconds or so. But at the same time, we have to bring him back, and I have to recover a little bit in order to win the sprint finish. Let's see how that plays out. Okay, so we've brought Max back. There he is, position number 2, and I'm going to drop back. This is intentional. There's the final composition, final breakaway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 riders, including myself and including still the Tayroon duo in pink. I'm going to fall all the way to the back because I don't want to have to respond to counterattacks. I know it's probably going to be inevitable because there's a handful of riders in this group. I'd say most of the riders in this group probably don't want things to come down to a field sprint. I want things to come to a field sprint altogether. My dream situation here is we're all together. We've rolled in really slowly. I've had a chance to recover. All things being equal, I like my chances in a field sprint, but it's a bike race. All things aren't equal ever. So I have to be very mindful still of what's going on off the front and think about the riders who don't want this to come back to a field sprint. Max is one of them, and there he goes. Almost as if he heard me talking into my microphone right now, he launches it. And we have this funny moment where I'm looking at Zach. Zach looks at me. We both kind of smile at each other because I'm like, yeah, go ahead and chase that. You have a teammate. And I'm hoping that's what Donnie does, but this is a risky game, you guys, because I kind of have to sit back. If I try to chase Max back myself, I'm going to get countered. It's going to be ugly. So I have to wait for somebody else to at least initiate this. And the logical team who's going to do that is the only team that has more than one person that is a team in this breakaway, and that's the 2 Tayroon guys. So that's what Donnie's doing. He's smashing on the front right now. I'm getting a decent draft. I could be a little bit closer. And I know everyone's in my draft. Because at this point, people aren't letting wheels go. They're thinking about the finish. I'm looking back. Yes, confirming that. I'm making sure everyone's still on. The reason I did that is if somebody wasn't able to match that acceleration, I would have done exactly what Blaine is doing right now, which is just sending it, like punishing them because they weren't able to match that acceleration. Blaine's going because Blaine does not want things to be a field sprint. He's one of those riders I mentioned before. Although he must be tired from being off the front earlier. We let him dangle with 5 or 7 seconds. How mean of us. So that's the benefit of letting him dangle up there is his really spicy attacks from about this range, 1 kilometer or so, don't have that same pop that they usually do. So he's brought back pretty quickly by Donnie here on the front, who also must be getting pretty tired. But, man, guys, we're getting close to the end now, and I'm all the way on the right here because I want to enjoy that draft. And if somebody's going to attack, they're going to do it in the wind, exposed in the wind. And I'm also only have to worry about the left-hand side. That's a key strategy. We're going to talk more about that in a second for the sprint. But I'm looking back. I'm laughing at Zach. It's like, all right, cat and mouse games have officially begun. This is exactly what I want, is just a moment to rest. And again, I'm staying to the far right-hand side of the road. I'm looking over my left-hand shoulder. I don't mind being on the front. I'd rather be further back. But when we're going this slow, I can really get a good eye on what's going on. Everything's happening behind me. I can see it when I'm looking back, and I can anticipate it. So if somebody's attacking, for example, like if Max decided to send it right there, I would be in a position to match that effort and not have to burn a bunch of matches in the process to quickly get into his draft. So again, I'm kind of forced to the front, but it's okay as long as we're going this slow. If this was super, super fast, I would not want to be on the front eating all that wind, but drafting's less consequential. Now I'm all the way on the center line here, and the reason is I'm only having to worry about my right-hand shoulder. That's why I keep looking. And this is exactly what I was talking about. I see Max going, and I'm basically have like a 3 or 4 bike length head start. I'm able to match his speed. There's even a spot for me to slot in, catch a little bit of a draft. He's basically my teammate now. I get a second of a draft, and then I'm able just to unload the remaining watts here, put my head down from about 150 meters to go. And yeah, I mean, Timmy's getting a good run at me from behind. But guys, when we're going 42 miles an hour, for Timmy to be able to pass me, he's got to be doing like 44, 45, something like that. Just too fast. Not enough time. And that's how the race was won. So thanks for watching. I want to remind you about the offer from Insta360. You can pick up the X4. I recorded this whole race on the X4. Check out the link in the description if you want to learn more. And then also I linked how to set it up, how to get the most out of the camera. Thanks for watching, guys. As always, I'll catch you in the next one.